I'm Dr. Billy Ray, and I'm a healthy man inside and out.
I'm Christina Morgan, and I'm a healthy woman inside and out.
And we have Christina Morgan, and I had the opportunity to actually hear Christina and to hear her story.
God's work in progress, Writing with the Scars, was birthed because I am a domestic violence survivor. And the story in God's work in progress is a compilation of poems because I was frightened at first to just tell my story. I didn't want to tell the story. And so I took what is called baby steps. And when I wrote that story, it was giving women an opportunity to tell their own story. But then my dad was not an abuser, so I had something to think in the back of my mind. Okay, my dad would take good care of us. If five girls, one boy, and he was very protective, very loving. So I had something to gauge it with or to compare it with. And so I knew when my first husband rose up on me and was beating me with my fist, this was not normal. And this was not something I could accept. So I was very grateful that my father had actually built me up to the woman I was, to the point that I knew I could run.
Yes.
Zero tolerance is a law, but it was actually enshrined in the 80s when President Reagan was fighting the war on drugs.
Okay.
And what the schools did were they adopted it, and so they have no tolerance for our children. So this is making their lives a little bit easier when they just use zero tolerance. Deferred adjudication simply means, okay, you didn't say guilty, we didn't find you guilty, we didn't find you innocent. So you're between. So you're not supposed to get into any trouble because you're going to be on probation for a while. You should not get into any trouble because if you do, then of course it's going to come back to you where they're going to say, okay, now you're in another set of trouble. Here you are. It's called the school to prison pipeline. And so, yes, I have done a lot of research, and this is the first book in the market or anybody ever talking about the accused. But have you guys ever wondered what happened to the accused? We only think about the children who have bullied, but we have never thought about those children who have been accused of bullying. Where are they? Even if they were guilty, where are they? What's going on with them?
Welcome back to Healthy Inside and Out. And we have our first guest with us today, Dr. Billy Ray. Welcome.
It's a pleasure. I'm a third generation Christian healer, if you will. My great-grandparents, my grandmother and great-grandmother laid hands in the name of Christ and people were healed. And typically all of us, when we have something special about us, when we were raised that we're not special, then you get a gift that's working and producing. You ask yourself, why me? Why? And what does this mean? And how do I use it? And who do I use it with?
Exactly.
So that whole journey opens up and it takes you down roads and paths that you would never imagine. And for me, it took me all over the world. The thing that I look at and I think is most important if we go back to the beginning. And if your foundation is solid, your building is going to be solid. And I think what happens is all of us get so busy with life and doing what we're doing, and we get up in the morning and we work 8 to 5 and we do 5 days a week, we do the weekends, we start all over again to keep doing the same thing. And what happens when we find ourselves in those kinds of routines, we don't have a listening for something different. We haven't been trained to be open to something different. We're simply trying to survive and get through and get it done. In particular, if you've got children and responsibilities, you're trying to get another week under your belt and get to a weekend. So I think if we go back to the beginning, which is God made you, you have an inner relation. God created you. You have an inner spirit that speaks, that will guide you if you will listen to it. The question was, before I came, how can we help women listen and better hear the spirit? If you don't have anything you're reaching for, you don't need the spirit to do anything more. If you're doing 8 to 5, 7 days a week, repeating it every week, week in and week out, all you need God to do is to continue what God is doing and what God is providing right now. If you want something different, then you got to ask for something different and do the work and develop it. The Bible says, if you want to come to God for water, don't come with your hand. Come with a bucket. Whatever you're receiving or asking to receive, you need to be prepared to receive that. But it's about making up your mind and choosing. That the power of a made up mind is unlimited. You make up your mind about it, it's done.